The day my world imploded started with the mundane groan of my sedan refusing to start. A dead battery, the mechanic sighed over the phone. It would be an all-day job. My heart sank. I had a career-defining presentation with a new client across town at 2 p.m. There was no way I could miss it. "Just take my car, honey," Sarah said, breezing into the kitchen, already dressed for work. She tossed the keys onto the granite countertop. They landed with a clink that seemed to echo with false cheer. "It's a bit messy, but it'll get you there." Sarah and I had been married for 8 years. We were that couple, the one our friends pointed to as goals. We had a beautiful home, successful careers, and a comfortable rhythm. The idea of mistrusting her was as foreign to me as flying. So I grabbed the keys, gave her a quick kiss, and headed for the garage. Her SUV was, as she warned, a little messy. A few empty coffee cups, a gym bag in the back. Normal life stuff. I slid into the driver's seat and was immediately hit by 2 things. First, the seat was pushed almost all the way back. I'm 6 feet tall. Sarah is a petite 5'4". She always drove with the seat pulled so far forward my knees would hit the dash. I brushed it off. Maybe she'd given a taller friend a ride. The second thing was the scent. It was a subtle, expensive cologne, something spicy and woodsy, completely unlike the fresh, citrusy scent I wore. I adjusted the seat, started the car, and pulled out of the driveway, the unfamiliar smell tickling my nose. I tried to ignore the tiny dark seed of unease planting itself in my gut. I turned on the radio to distract myself. It was tuned to a classic rock station, blasting a song she absolutely despised. Dad rock, she called it. She only ever listened to pop or podcasts. Another anomaly. Another thing I tried to explain away. My phone rang. It was my boss. "Mark, bad news. The clients are stuck in traffic, massive pileup on the interstate. They want to reschedule for tomorrow." Relief washed over me, quickly followed by an odd sense of emptiness. I now had a full afternoon to myself, sitting in my wife's car, which suddenly felt less like her space and more like a stranger's. That seed of unease began to sprout. I pulled over into a quiet parking lot. I told myself I was being paranoid, a crazy, jealous husband, but I couldn't shake the feeling. My eyes scanned the car's interior. My gaze landed on the passenger side door pocket. Tucked inside was a single, sleek, silver cufflink. It wasn't mine. Mine were all gold, a gift from my father. This one was modern, minimalist, and definitely not cheap. I picked it up. It felt cold and heavy in my palm, like a piece of evidence. My heart started hammering against my ribs. "Don't do it, Mark," a voice in my head pleaded. But I couldn't stop. I opened the glove compartment. Inside, amidst the car manual and old napkins, was a small stack of receipts held together by a paperclip. I thumbed through them. Gas, groceries, a pharmacy run. Then, one from 2 weeks ago stopped me cold. It was from the Gilded Spoon, an absurdly expensive French restaurant on the other side of the city. A place we'd talked about going for a special occasion, but never had. The date was a Tuesday. She had told me she was stuck at the office working late on a big project. The bill was for 2 people. 2 tasting menus, a bottle of vintage Bordeaux. The total made my stomach churn. I felt dizzy, the air in the car thick and suffocating. This was bad. This was really, really bad. But I still didn't have proof. Just a series of disconnected, damning clues. My hand trembled as I reached for the car's infotainment system, the navigation. Her digital breadcrumbs. I tapped the screen, my finger feeling clumsy and foreign. I went to recent destinations, her office, our grocery store, the gym, our home, and then an address I didn't recognize, 1428 Willow Creek Lane. It wasn't near her office or any of her friends' houses. It was in an affluent suburb 30 minutes away, A neighborhood of sprawling lawns and new-build mansions. I didn't even think. I put the car in drive and typed the address into the GPS. A calm female voice directed me onto the highway, leading me toward the destruction of my own life. Each mile that passed felt like a nail being hammered into my coffin. I drove like a zombie, my mind a whirlwind of denial and sickening certainty. Willow Creek Lane was exactly as I'd pictured it, manicured perfection. I found number 1428 and parked down the street, my heart feeling like it was going to beat its way out of my chest. It was a gorgeous, modern house, all glass and dark wood. As I sat there, staring, the front door opened. A man stepped out. He was tall, handsome, wearing a tailored suit. I recognized him instantly from a holiday party photo Sarah had shown me. It was David, her colleague, the work husband she joked about. He got into a sleek black BMW parked in the driveway and drove off. I should have left then. I had seen enough. The cufflink, the dinner, the cologne, the man, it all made a horrifying kind of sense. But I was frozen, paralyzed by a grief so profound it felt physical. As I was about to force myself to drive away, the front door of 1428 Willow Creek Lane opened again. It was Sarah, my Sarah. She was wearing a robe, holding a coffee mug, and she stepped onto the porch to water a potted plant. She looked at home. She looked serene. It was the most jarringly painful image I had ever seen. And then I saw it. Next to the driveway was a real estate sign. A bright red banner was slapped across it. Sold. My hands shook as I pulled out my phone and typed the address into a real estate app. The listing popped up immediately. Sold 2 weeks ago. I scrolled through the photos of the empty, beautiful rooms. And then I scrolled down to the public record of the sale. My breath hitched. My vision blurred. The new owners were listed as David C. Peterson and Sarah L. Miller. She hadn't just been having an affair. She had been building a new life. She had bought a house with another man. Our house, the one we'd built together, was just a layover. Our marriage was a waiting room. The money from our joint savings account, the one we were building for our future, had been funneled into this betrayal. This was not a mistake. This was a calculated, long-term plan to erase me. I drove home in a daze. The world outside the car windows seemed muted and gray. When I walked through the front door, she was in the kitchen, humming as she chopped vegetables for dinner. "Hey, honey, how was your day? Did the car work okay?" she asked, smiling that same beautiful smile that had once been the center of my universe. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't scream. The anger I expected to feel was absent, replaced by a hollow, cavernous emptiness. I walked over to the counter and placed her car keys down. Next to them, I set the silver cufflink. Then the receipt from the gilded spoon. Her smile faltered. Her eyes darted from the items on the counter to my face. The color drained from her cheeks. "How's the new house on Willow Creek Lane?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "I hope you and David are very happy there." It was the only time I had ever seen her truly speechless. The mask of the perfect wife disintegrated, revealing the stranger beneath. There were no excuses, no apologies, just the silent, ugly truth hanging in the air between us. I turned around, walked upstairs, and packed a bag. I took nothing that reminded me of her. I left the photos, the gifts, the 8 years of shared memories that now felt like a well-acted lie. As I walked out the front door, I didn't look back. There was nothing left to see. I drove to my sister Emily's house, the only sanctuary I could think of. When she opened the door and saw my face, she didn't need to ask what was wrong. She just pulled me into a hug, and for the first time that day, standing in the safety of her arms, I finally broke.